everyone, it is Leon here and I am with Phil.
Hello everyone.
Who has been playing Splinter Cell Blacklist for review, and you gave it a...
8 out of 10.
Not
yeah, this is a very good game. It's mechanically very, very slick, as you'd expect from Splinter Cell. It sort of builds on all the conviction mechanics, which obviously didn't come to PS3, but there were some good mechanics in there. Politically, it was a little bit obnoxious. Blacklist is less so. It's still not maybe an easy game to play through. There's quite a lot of kind of uncomfortable Afghanistan and Iraq and Iran and Pakistan locations to go through, but it's also quite globe-trotting. There's an incredible level that I think has been showcased a few times in trailers in Britain and a sort of offshore sea fortress and stuff. So it's just a really slick espionage, global espionage, stealth action thing.
I found it almost like a kind of almost old-fashioned, and you can see like hiding bodies and stuff here. It's how you remember sort of old stealth games being. So, hiding behind cover, pulling bodies over the tops of things, and working out the kind of the clockwork of a level so that you can remove people if you want without causing too much fuss. You can with this though. You can go Ghost, Assault, Panther. You can play it in a variety of different styles, and it rewards you accordingly.
Yes, there's a score system for either ghosting through levels, going undetected, non-lethal takedowns. That's your Ghost. You can be a Panther, which is to kill people but stealthily and remaining undetected, or just to go completely weapons free, and that's your Assault. And that sort of feeds back into your upgrades, your currency, and everything like that. So you're insanely customizable, as is Paladin. The base of operations.
We'll see a bit of that in a little while. Yeah, the customization options are huge.
Absolutely huge. Yeah, and Paladin. Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Here's
this is basically Splinter Cell being Mass Effect. So this is your Normandy.
I only realised that a little way into it when I was walking around talking to people and going, "This is a Normandy."
Yeah. Just a small Normandy that occasionally has a bit of turbulence, which is a nice touch. I even think that the slightly redesigned, I almost called him Shepard. The redesigned Sam Fisher looks a bit more Shepard-y. He's got a slightly more potato-shaped head. He's also got a new voice actor, which we should mention is no longer Michael Ironside. I can't remember the new guy's name, but he is not great. Everyone else is great. It's a surprisingly well-voiced, well-facially captured game. But new Fisher is just a little bit... He's only got grumpy. He's quite one-dimensional. Everyone else.
I think he was always only grumpy, but I think it shows a little more. I think as characters got sort of a bit richer, maybe his scowly, don't argue, let's do it kind of thing is a little more noticeable.
He wants everything doing yesterday.
Yeah, I should just mention it is quite brutal. I mean, we saw that guy getting his throat ripped out there. I have to admit, I played it mostly lethally because I think from the word go I just decided I'm just going to be lethal. You can not kill people, and I did leave a couple of people alive, but he's got this horrible sort of hooked blade that he kind of hooks under people's jaws and uses that to pull them out the way, and then tears their throat out. It's really sort of unrelentingly nasty if you choose to be lethal.
It's a good example of how slick it is mechanically as well, is that he's going to pull the body back into cover from wherever you've been.
Yeah.
So it looks horrible, but it also serves a purpose to keep that body out of other guards' way.
Yeah. This bit here, I should mention, there's co-op missions you can do with a friend. There's also basically kind of almost like challenge missions that unlock stuff, don't you? So that one we saw there, you get attacked by waves of enemies, and you can sort of complete it to get more stuff for the Paladin and more gear.
So yeah, these are issued while you're on the Paladin, just by talking to various crew members, and they'll have little side missions for you, and that makes the core missions, which can only be completed in single player, a little bit easier because you've got so many gadgets this time. So you've got the tri-rotor drone thing from Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and that fires toxic darts at people. There's also a moment where you're using it just for facial capture, which is quite cool.
I think that comes up in a little while.
Yeah, you've got shot grenades. You can customize your sidearms and your primary weapons in order for so you can have scopes.
That was we should probably mention the mark and execute things. Obviously, Conviction wasn't on PS3, so that might not be that well known. It's pretty similar to what was in Ghost Recon, actually, where you sort of tag people and you hit a button and then you just effortlessly take them all out.
Yeah, in kind of a cutscene that still feels vaguely engaging. Well, it's actually really satisfying.
It's tactically, you can sort of use it so you mark people and then you have to get to a position where you can hit them all, and then you trigger it, and your sort of reward is, that everyone's gone in an instant.
Yeah, and you have to earn those mark and execute points as well. So by doing stealth takedowns, so this is a facial capture thing that we mentioned earlier. So by killing people in inventive ways, then you earn the mark and execute. In fact, one of the strengths of the game is that you don't really have to kill anyone in the same way in one level. You can keep using all your gear, and so in one area where there's like maybe a man and a dog, the dogs are absolutely deadly and terrifying. You can throw a sticky cam against the wall and make a little noise, a distracting noise, gather people around, and then release a bunch of sleeping gas, and everyone's just down.
All the levels and all the AI are very kind of pliable and easy to kind of manipulate. This bit here where I just knifed that guy, I when I played this, stayed here for the best part of half an hour just piling the bodies up underneath, because they never saw me, they never realised where I was, and every time they came to investigate a body, I just dropped down, cut someone, and slid back up again. It was
back up, yeah.
It was pretty dark, to be honest.
I had an incredible moment when I realised the first man that I'd left knocked out and hadn't put anywhere, because you have to drag the bodies away and put them in bins that seem to litter everywhere.
It's very, very Hitman, isn't it? There's conveniently body-shaped, sized bins that you can just put everything in.
Yeah, they know what goes on around these streets. So one of them was just sort of left out in the open. I thought nothing of it. Somebody came and found him, and then sort of revived him and said, "Right, let's go and find the man who just knocked her out." And I was like,
you can use you can use bodies to. I've shot this dog here, and then I put down a shock grenade, which is like a claymore but with electric darts. So, guy comes to investigate the dog, he gets shocked. You can manipulate people beautifully, and you can do horrible things throughout the whole level, and no one ever knows you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good at just giving you a tool set and letting you experiment with it. There are moments when I guess it feels a little bit like you're being part of a QTE, but it always, even if you are in kind of like a melee situation where you've initiated a QTE, you always feel engaged with Sam, and he feels very fluid, whether he's moving between cover. The cover system's fantastic, actually really reliable.
Yeah, and we mentioned customization. I mean, this is sort of some of the stuff you can get here. I mean, it's amazing how much stuff is open from the start of the game. Once you've cleared the tutorial, you've got about 5 or 6 different missions to pick from. You can do in any order, however you want. You've got all this different kind of gear that you can build up and customize. I very quickly unlocked the second pistol, and then I bought like better silencer, better sights, better sort of triggers, and beefed up this pistol into quite a weapon. And it feels like there's so much there the second you start, which is really kind of interesting and sort of exciting. Unlike other games where they kind of go, well, here's gun number 1. Here's a new pair of shoes. This is just like, here's everything. Just if you want to grind through that side mission to buy stuff with the cash you unlock, go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I took a completely different path and left the guns alone, and I was upgrading the paladin stuff so that I had a better radar and I could see the enemy's field of view as well, things like that, so that I could just, and I think I made my trousers more stealthy somehow. Things like that. It didn't make immediate sense, but
so we should mention actually, paladin is the little radar you see in the bottom left corner there, you only get that when you upgrade the cockpit, and that's your sort of tutorial. But you can extend the radar, you can get more black market stuff out of your prisoner if you upgrade the prison cell. The more you put into the paladin, the more you kind of get in terms of in-game assistance, not necessarily actual kind of material things. So the customization gets you guns, your outfits, all that sort of stuff, where the plane gets you radars and more info and more assets.
Yeah, and here's some there's some really nice kind of dual takedown opportunities, whether they're organic or whether they come in like a big button prompt, like press triangle now to dual takedown. So we were about to do it here and then decided, no, let's get a little bit closer.
And you can play this. So there's special co-op missions, aren't there? And you can also choose to play, I think, all the missions in co-op, pretty much, can't you?
All but the actual core story missions. So all the side missions in the Paladin, but the base story you have to go it alone. Just
I think
so
we do
sense.
a dual execution here. Any second.
Yes.
There we go.
Very satisfying.
So
there are dual door breaches as well and things like that all the way.
And it's just nice
levels.
that there's 2 guards, you both sneak up from different angles and both take them at the same time. It's it's quite satisfying. And we were playing this, we were talking, checking where each other were. You do this one, you do that one, like they do at E3 when you watch them doing the presentations. You go, it's not like that in real life.
Nobody's that polite with each other. We were quite nice with each other. Yeah. Tagging enemies as well takes on a new significance when you're in co-op, because you can make sure everybody knows where all the enemies are. And I also found that the level design is more multi-path. I mean, there's always been an alternate route, or you can hop out of a window and shimmy along outside somewhere. But there seems to be sort of like 3 or 4 ways of getting to any objective this time, which I thought was refreshing. And sometimes it reminded me of the earlier Hitmans, or like the Blood Money era Hitman.
Yeah.
Sort of maybe without that dark humour and not quite as as much of a sense of you being in a huge, whirring, ever-changing machine.
Yeah, so 8 out of 10. I mean, the only thing I could think of I didn't like, maybe some of the load times were a bit long, but that could just be we were playing on debug code. I mean, any sort of conclusion?
I had problems with it narratively and in terms of its ideology, but mechanically it's an extremely polished and proficient game, and I didn't let the story get in the way of that. So overall, yeah, highly recommend it. Better than expected, I think, for most people, and a new high for Splinter Cell on PS3.
Cool, thank you very much.